So I just finished recording something with Mr. Ferris Wheel 32 on Skype, which is in fact Ferris Week, which will be taking place from Monday to Sunday, all of next week, which will basically be dual narrations. I call them narrations, it's more like Ferris and I just spouting bullshit while Pokemon plays in the background. That's going to happen the whole of next week, so you should look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, nothing else to really say apart from this is an Ubers battle that I took today. Hey, I kind of rhymed there, and it was from Smogon. And it was against a guy who I can't really pronounce his name. It's like gat0resloco. Well, yeah, you can read it in the title. I'm not gonna try to. So we're gonna lead off with Arceus Water against his Hippo. Now, I know he has a Giratina, and I'm also unaware of how well he knows the Ubers meta game. I'm thinking maybe decently, just because he's running a Sand team in Ubers. Not that that really says anything, but if you are a bit better at Ubers, you may have the balls to run Sand, because it requires a little bit more knowledge of the tier than perhaps a usual Sun or Rain team does. But my thought process there was he's going to predict a water move going to Giratina, so I am going to double switch into my Reshiram, because going to Reshiram against the Giratina puts me in a very favourable position, allows me to kind of smash him with a Draco and have at it, really. But he actually goes into Mewtwo, which I find, I guess, a decent switch, relatively interesting for an Arceus Water. I could have potentially T-waved it, but you know, whatever. He seems to think that it's a good idea to switch out, as he sees that Sandstorm buffets my Reshiram before it buffets a Mewtwo, kind of telling him that I am in fact scarfed and outspeed him there. But go for the Draco as he switches into the Arceus Rock. Arceus Rock being a really great poke to be using in a Sand team, because it gets that special defense through the roof. My lord, that thing has high special defense with Sand. Not quite as high as Shuckle the Spec D, but it's up there in the upper echelons of the Spec D realm, as it were. So I go into Groudon, setting up the Sun. And then I switch into my Ho-Oh on this Mewtwo, predicting the just straight up special attack. I'm pretty sure that I can take an Ice Beam, and that really is the kind of thing I'm going for. Now I'm thinking, okay, after a Calm Mind, I should be able to live one hit, but pulls out the bag the Side Strike, which I really should have seen coming. That's kind of obvious that Mewtwo do carry that, because when Ho-Oh is a potential thing in your face, you kind of need something like Side Strike to be able to deal heavy damage, and it does deal heavy damage with the +1. Doesn't take me out, however, because Ho-Oh was at full HP, and I go for the Sacred Fire in the Sun, hoping that it would take it out just because of stab, because of the Sun boost, because of Ho-Oh's massive attack. But apparently, not only do I not get the 50% chance for a burn, but I also leave it with like orange after lefties, which, my god, Mewtwo is pretty damn bulky. I definitely didn't not give it enough credit for the amount of bulk that it does carry, and that's the thing, as I say 100 and thousands of times with Ubers, is that things live with smidgens. It's how it goes. That's how the game works. But takes me out with a second Side Strike. I'm free to go into Giratina, threaten him out with the Shadow Sneak, but knowing that he's going to switch out, I'm going to substitute instead of Shadow Sneaking. Puts me at a little bit of an advantage here, because he's bringing in his Ho-Oh, his Hippowdon, his Hippow indeed, his Hippo Man in the Sand. And his intention is probably going to be to roar me. So knowing that, I'm going to go for the Dragon Tail. Being faster than the Hippowdon, I'm actually able to get off my phasing move before he's able to get off his phasing move, and I push him out into his Zekrom. So this really bodes very well for me. He could go back out into Hippo, but he'd just get Dragon Tailed out again. And I guess the best thing for him to really do is try to get rid of my substitute with an Outrage at this point. He pretty much knows that I'm going to Dragon Tail at this point. There's nothing he can really do. He just has to try and get rid of my sub so that he can threaten me some other way, and I guess that outraging me right in the face is the best way to do that. So that's what he does, and it happens as such. Dragon Tail smacks him in the face, does a huge amount, 75%, or at least it looks like that, and phases him right out into his Arceus Rock. Now, I wasn't too sure whether he would want to recover here, but I decided I would stay in, go for an Earthquake, just to gauge how much it would do. I honestly didn't think it would do that much, because being an Arceus Rock, I kind of expected some physical defensive investment, but it actually does a really good chunk, like a lot more than I thought it would. There's lack of stab on Giratina. I don't believe this one carries many attack EVs, so it did surprise me quite significantly, and from that range, Shadow Sneak can actually take it out. And Shadow Sneak actually has stab, so it has a bit more going for it, as it were, on that end, and especially when you're at low health, you know, able to clean the thing out, which is exactly what happened. So I'm going to switch out on the Excadrill, go straight into Groudon, because Groudon is a catch-all solution to any Excadrill that so happen to come in. It deals with the Earthquake, deals with the Shadow Claw, deals with the Rock Slide. Even if he Swords Dances, Earthquake is not a clean one-hit KO, which pretty much puts me in a grand old position here, able to Earthquake him and take him out. But knowing that he's going to switch, you know, it seems likely he's going to go into Hippo. I believe I go for the Roar on this turn just to shuffle him about a bit. I actually don't have rocks up, but oh, I go for rocks actually instead. Maybe I'm thinking a bit further ahead in the match. I probably am, but I go for the rocks actually. That did make more sense because I hadn't got rocks up on the field yet. Roaring on the Excadrill would have been slightly pointless when there's nothing really to phase around with rocks going down. So go for the Earthquake this turn. That's right, as he lays down his Stealth Rock, and now on the following turn, I predict him to go for the Roar, in which case I know, being faster than him, if I go for the Roar, I'll be able to phase him out before he phases me, and that's exactly what happens as I go for the Roar. And as you can see, for the second time in this match, Hippowdon has tried to phase and has failed because of a faster Pokemon with a phasing move of its own, and Excadrill actually comes back out, works perfectly into my favor. I actually predict him to switch again this time, which is why I go for the Roar instead of Earthquaking. Had I Earthquaked, I probably would have made my life a lot easier, but I just thought he would go into Giratina and to take the Earthquake, which I honestly didn't think would do that much, so I decided, you know, Roar would be the best solution if Giratina came in, get some Stealth Rock damage on it, and then push it out into something more favourable for me. But hey, that's how it goes. He gets Giratina in after smacking me with some damage. As you can see, Earthquake did hardly anything to Groudon, so it's not like I should be afraid in any of these scenarios, but yep, that's the thing that happens. I'm now going to go into my own Giratina, knowing that it's going to die from Stealth Rocks, just kind of seeing what this Giratina of his would do. He could either Dragon Tail or Will-O-Wisp, and seeing as I have Groudon in, Will-O-Wisp is the most likely thing he would do, and Will-O-Wisp is thus what he does do. It actually fails because I have nothing in, as my own Giratina Origin form dies upon switching. I could have potentially gone straight from Groudon into Reshiram, but looking at his team, Reshiram is going to be my main man in charge here, because being Scarfed, it outspeeds every single thing that he has, and it is basically the main Pokemon that will be able to break down his threats. So go for the Draco from basically full health that he has, and I'm pretty sure it'll take it out, mainly because majority of Giratinas run Impish, run a more defensive set, I guess, because Arceus normal form is such a threat that running defensively based Giratina makes more sense, and thus frickin' Draco is going to clean him out in one hit. If he'd been especially defensive, then maybe he would have lived. I've seen Giratina live Draco Meteors like that before, but doesn't work out in this case, and good for me, because Reshiram is very necessary for the winning of this match. So I switch it out, being so necessary, as he goes into Excadrill. Swords Dances on the switch, which was kind of obvious, but I kind of gave it to him because I know that there's a really easy way for me to eliminate Excadrill, and that is to just bring in Groudon, know that I can live an Earthquake, and go for an Earthquake of my own to finish him off in the process. And pretty much what happens as he Earthquakes me, I'm praying, don't get a crit, please, God, don't get a crit, and he doesn't. Live with the 56 HP, go for my own Earthquake, and Excadrill is now down, and I believe his only Pokemon left are the Zekrom, the something, and the something. Well done, Zed, for remembering so eloquently all the Pokemon on his team. I know he still has Zekrom left, and I'm just blanking on the other two right now, but I'm sure we'll see them. Well, I'm definitely sure we'll see them. Mewtwo, there you go. Mewtwo's one of them. Now, we've already seen earlier this Mewtwo carries Leftovers, and it's a Calm Mind spread, so it is no threat of outspeeding my Reshiram at all. So what I do is I leave Groudon here as death fodder. The really there's no problem whatsoever losing the sun or losing the weather wall, because at this point all he has left is Hippo, Mewtwo, and the Zekrom. Yes, those three: Hippo, Mewtwo, Zekrom. None of them really benefit from sand. Hippo is the only thing that, you know, sets it up, but it's not like it really does anything to it. So I am pretty certain that if I bring in Reshiram here, lock myself in on Dragon Pulse, I should have the game. If he switches to Hippo, the thing's going to be dead. If he stays in with Mewtwo, that's going to be dead. If he switches to Zekrom, that's going to be dead. He has no option really. As I am Scarfed, I do outspeed his entire team. Now the only issue would be if his Zekrom was Scarfed. I believe Reshiram and Zekrom have the same base speed, so if he's running a Jolly Scarf Zekrom, he would be able to speed tie with me and be able to take me out potentially, because I'm running Timid, max speed, Reshiram, and you know, as long as I am able to win speed tie, or just, you know, be able to just outright outspeed it, I'm good. It's good in the hood. All is good in the hood, and such is the case as he blows the Zekrom out of the water with the Dragon Pulse. Don't know if you know, he was scarfed or whatever, but really does well for me, honestly, because all I have to do is finish off his final thing, which is the Mewtwo, with a Dragon Pulse as he goes down into the low red after Stealth Rock, and we are home free, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it, finishing the narration slightly early, but I guess that it makes sense to, because it was pretty much cleaned up. I had fun with this battle, definitely did. It was good. You know, not too terrible, and I was able to kind of use this team that Rich and I used to a pretty good length, as it were. Arceus Water didn't really do much, but you know, it was always there for backup if it was needed. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. If you do want to leave a like, you may do so by clicking the like button, and that is a potential thing that could happen. Indeed, you could do it. Otherwise, you can check out my previous video. Click on the screen right now. You can check out my channel. You can subscribe. If you don't know what subscribe means, it basically means you click the yellow button which says subscribe. I don't even think it's yellow anymore. I think it's like grey or some shit. You click that button, and basically what that does is every time you go to the home page of your YouTube account, it will show you. Apart from, no, it fucking won't anymore. You know why? Because YouTube's terrible, and it doesn't show you what you want on your home page. But you could try and subscribe. That's a thing if you want to try. If you want to brave the elements of YouTube, then it's a potential option for you. If not, then, you know, you can visit my channel every so often and see what I do. I have rambled, and I am done. And I shall see you guys next time with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.